It says here that you'll have a kid, you give a kid, Tomei, and the Yom HaShmini you should malaz always, and that's his Deiches Shabbos, Shmini no matter what, and it's Deiches Shabbos. But the Gemara learns out from here that Misha Imay Tmei Leda, that's the one that's Deiches Shabbos. What about one that's not Tmei Leda, which is who? The Yetzer Daifen or Caesarean is not Deiches, what do you call it? It's Milos is not Deiches Shabbos. So I just had one like that. I don't remember who. There was a kid born on Shabbos, but the bris was Sunday. And the reason this was Sunday was because it was a Caesarean. Okay, and this is the thing. Okay. The Shaila is the Shiv Zatzal said a Tam Dava. Thank you. What is he trying to teach us here with this Nikudah? It says that a person has to realize that he's fallible. He can make a mistake. If he realizes he can make a mistake, he's going to be very, very careful in what he does. If he doesn't realize that he can make a mistake, then he becomes careless. And that's the point. How do we denote that in the thing? A woman that's Tamei Leda, so she already has tum in her. In other words, she has negiyas, she has things. In other words, something wrong. She doesn't have a clear mind. And the thing there, we can trust her that she'll make a right decision, because she knows she's tamei, and since she knows she's tamei, she's going to figure out exactly what the situation is. But someone who's not tamei, who thinks, no big deal, then they can make mistakes to other places also. We had this originally by Parshas Kisisa, with the era of by Shabbos. Rashi learns that the mistake, and that it says there, that Binyan Beis Hamikdash is not Deiches Shabbos, because Shabbos is so holy, it teaches the world Lodas. And Rashi says, who's Lodas? The Umos, the woman, the Goyim, that Ani Hashem Kadishchem, that main one that makes you holy. So therefore, what do you call it? I have to tell you that. Vayakel, it's exactly the same mitzvah, that Binyan Beis Hamikdash is not Deiches Shabbos. What do you need the two of them for? And the last mitzvah before the Egel was Shabbos. It's the one that it says there, the Binyan Beis Hamikdash not Deiches Shabbos. So we learned over there, the reason is, and I had a kasha originally, but now I think I have the answer for that, is how could Rashi learn different than the Gemara? The Gemara says, the Jew should know why I made you holy. It says, it doesn't say who Lodas goes on. If a person translated that it goes on the Goyim, like Rashi does, then what happens is, then he's in danger of being Deiches Shabbos. Why? Because the Alani HaKavod are there. The Goyim won't see us anyway, so we don't have to show them. So therefore, maybe Kedushas Beis Hamikdash is more important than Shabbos. And and from that type of logic, you get an ego. That's the problem. In other words, when you start feeling you can do it. I remember my father once told the doctor he had to put a second pacemaker into him. The first one was no good. The guy supposed to have done 10,000 of them, or 10,000 pacemakers. He was the pro, as you call it, and he goofed. So when he came to apologize to my father, and he said to him, I don't know why, it happened. I never made a mistake in my life like this. He says, that's why it happened. Because you never make it. You say, I can do this operation with my hands tied behind my back. I have no problem. Once you have that kind of confidence, you better watch out. That's it. So. Okay. So that's the over there. Okay. Then you have a whole bunch of din of Tuma on her, and whatever, and we commemorate still these din, by the way, with our leaders. If the baby is born, when the mother comes to shul, they had kiddusha, or when the times when after she has the 7 days or 14 days, whatever it is. Anyway, in the end, it says, it would be if you have a child, a boy or a girl, that then you're supposed to bring a sheep, a keves b'shnos l'oila, and a ben yaina or tar for a chatas, bird for chatas. If you can't afford it, and this it says, this is the law of the Yoledis. And then after, if you don't find that much, if you can't afford it, in other words, so then she takes 2 birds. Okay? It's a little bit different than we find the Gemara, the Psukim in Parshas Mitzvah. Parshas Mitzvah talks also about a person who's a Mitzvah has to bring his karbanis, and he's a rich person, and then it talks about the ones who are a poor person. So this is the way it puts it. And okay, who then it says what happens if he's poor, right? And then it says Zois Teras Asher Boineged Soraz Asher Boisasi Godi Vitorose. For an halacha, if a person is poor when he started to bring his korbanos, in other words, he bought an oila. He bought the chatas first as an oni, right? So, and he became rich in between. Does he have to bring? Can he bring the oila from a higher man, or no? If you started as an oni, so you finish off as an oni. That's the thing, and that's the din by mitzvah like that. By a sheep, maybe it's not like by a birth, it may not be that way. Why? Because here it says Zois Teras HaMitzvah that has no money. That's Loisasi Gyodei. So he has a special law. That now he's a different law. So therefore his law is a roni. He doesn't have the same laws of Ashir. Here there's only one law. Here it says the lotion is that this is the law. There's only one. You have to bring a sheep in it. Now there's a second thing. If you can't afford it, so there's a thing that you still, how are you going to get tahar? So you can bring 2 boats, you'll be tahar. But you didn't do what you were supposed to do. And now why didn't I do what I was supposed to do? Because I didn't have the money. But the idea is I didn't do what I was supposed to do. That can be the difference between the two of them. Now he goes into the inyanim of tzaras. Tzaras is a discoloration of the skin. There's also tzaras that's called leprosy, Hansen's disease. But the idea is that is a disease which parts of your body fall off, and it gets diseased. Then it's very catchy. What do you call it? That's a different thing. But we're talking about tzaras of a discoloration of the skin. And these stories you hear about people talking about, oh, he has tzaras on him, he said this, he said that. It's baloney, because first of all, you need a kohen to tell you it's tummy. If Kolzman a kohen doesn't tell you it's tummy, you're not tummy. So therefore, if the guy's not tummy, that has nothing to do with any ancient. There's nothing there that affects him. And he tell you that you spoke Lashon Hara. If you know you spoke Lashon Hara, you probably spoke Lashon Hara. That's a different story. It has nothing to do with anything about the guilt feelings. But in a way, it was the biggest blessing that we could have. tzaras, people were careful not to speak Lashon Hara. Why? Because they know that they may be very embarrassed if they have a fight with someone and they say things or act in certain ways. This not only comes because not only because of Lashon Hara, comes soul science, cheapness, and things of that sort that it comes in for. That means the God is judging you that you have these schainis in you. And if you had a fight about it or something, you want to justify yourself and say, no, I'm this thing, and then you get a tzaras. So then all of a sudden you become extremely embarrassed. You make sure that it doesn't happen by that way, making sure it doesn't happen. You're not going to have any problem with the Lashon Hara. So it's not a bad thing to happen. So you ask the kasha, how come it says in the Devarim, I think it's Kiseitze, Yishamelcha b'nega tzaras, in Zohar, what I did to Miriam, Baderch, B'tzis Mitzrayim, whatever it is there. Like, why is it such a special thing? You gave me this warning already, saying that. We had the fight. People were hard-headed and they held their fight, whatever it is there. And then a guy sees a discoloration on his skin. He does not know if it's Torahs or not. He learned the Chumash, he learned the Mishnayos maybe, and it seems he got a good shaila what it is or what it isn't. He's got to go to the Kohen and stuff like that. But if he goes to the Kohen and the Kohen tells him that it's a good chance that it is, so he knocks him up for the week, or he actually passes up that he's tummy already. That's a dangerous thing it's going to be. Like, why was the guy, is he, so what I'm going to do? I'm going to wear a long sleeve shirt. Nobody's going to see it. And therefore, I don't want to have no kasha. They won't see it. So he says, Shama v'nega tzaras. Remember what I did to Miriam. Miriam Gata was Torah. You don't find that Miriam was tummy. You have to have to be a lot more than the 7 days outside the machne. 7 days out of machne says to Tam, why did he kick her out for the 7 days? Because if her father would get angry at her and what he called, what we call nazifa, like, Vayas, nobody really cares if the father's angry at them. That's the tzorah in our day. But the real din is, if your father gets angry at you, you're supposed to hide from him for 7 days. And stuff like that, so it says there, what the Ben should say, what happened? The father would have got upset. So therefore, so I got angry at her. I'm her father. Get her out, take her out. Not because she's tummy. Why was she talking not tummy? Because the whole body was white. The whole body becomes white, it's Torah. And the thing is, if part of the body becomes white, it's tummy. But if the whole body becomes white, it's Torah. So therefore that's what he's saying. When the Kohen can say, so that's what that would mean. She never became tummy, but it was very nikya that she had tzaras. That it was very nikya. So in other words, if you're trying to hide your embarrassment, you should know I can uncover your embarrassment everyone should see. So be good, go to the Kohen right away, get it over with, and then do tshuva and it'll be fine. Okay. And I think in a way that the Torah is even making it rougher on the Baal Lashon Hara. You have a letter of the Tzorua that he is so begod of Yifrumim, his clothes have to be ripped. In other words, that's right, kriya. Right, v'roishi yeparua, v'al sofam yato, whatever the adin of Avelis is, or the thing, and if he tummy yiko, and he has to go out and say, stay away from me, from tummy. That's a pretty belittling thing, The guy don't know I'm tummy, so what do I have to announce it for? No, you have to announce it. You have to make sure no one touches you, no one gets involved with you. And that's the embarrassing part that the Rebbeinu made on him, and therefore that they make sure people are going to make sure that doesn't happen to them, because that's very embarrassing. Okay. Anything else here on that? Then we go into there's some days that it's not sure, some days that it's definitely tummy right away, whatever it is. You're not sure, you like you up. It's interesting what that suffix is worse than vade sometimes. Vade, you're free, you can go out, but you're tummy. And the other one, you're not tummy, you're in doubt of tummy, but they like you up. What do you call it? So it's a thing. Okay. Otherwise, basically, there's a repetition. The Rashiva has why the Torah repeats the halachas twice, once with a burn, once with a clap. These are just different explanations of the things there. But this is that was the Seder. Period. The haftarahs are the interesting part, I think, in this particular haftarahs, where they seem to go off on real tzoras and not the tzoras of color, because there's a Mishnah like this in others, in the Goyim. A black, a white, neither one has a din of negoyim. Why? Because the discoloration is not that clear and by them. Now, in a black person, even a thing that's not so ras will appear white, and in a white person, even something that is not so ras will maybe appear dark, and therefore those are not. It's only by Yidden, which their color, in other words, very shame in a way, that their color is olive skinned. Those are the ones we have the din tzaras. So Gerim and stuff like that, that are what do you call? They will not have that halacha of tzaras. We have our color, and we have very distinct colorings of a Yid, right? And that's because we come from shame. It's not because of other things. We're olive skinned, we're black or brown eyed, black haired. That's the color is of Jews. You got redheads, you got blondes, you got what do you call? They are through gerim or through rapes or whatever it is that happened to Klal Yisrael, and they got into our genes, and therefore we have aluminum. Yes, but the true color of a Jew is olive skinned. Okay, and that's the thing. So these were the halachas of olive skin and stuff. So that's just a point of information. There's nothing to, doesn't have any halachas. The Haftarah talks about Gehazi. Gehazi was the Mishores of Elisha. He was the Mishores would make him the chief gabbai, in plain English. He is the guy in charge of everything. You want a better Loshin than the chief gabbai. He's the, what do you call he is the, in political, the guy sits outside the office and tells them he is the,
Chief of Staff?
Chief of Staff. He's the chief of staff. He's the guy that runs the show. That's the gabbai. Okay. Now, they tell a joke. It's a very big emes, though, the joke. that they had a Rebbe, he had 4 Gaboyim. So they asked the Rebbe, you know, when you were 20 years younger, you used to have 6 Gaboyim. What happened to the, why you only have 4 now? He says, well, I would take 6 Gaboyim. Now I can only take 4. And the thing over there. In other words, the Gaba is a problem. Okay, but sometimes you need the Gaba for whatever reason it is there. But the Gaba can be a problem. That's the point he's telling me. Okay. So the same thing is over by Elisha. You had a guy who maybe, because, why was he so close? Could be he's a pusher. That was one way they can say. It's not a grace of mile that he got there. Or could be that he was so choshev, meaning he had so potential to become who knows what he could become, and therefore the Elisha was very careful with him to try to get him, like to help him with his chesronis to get him by. Now, what chesronis did he have? He had major ones, major ones. He didn't believe in the Navi. That's pretty bad. Then we'll go with the mices, what he didn't believe in a second. He was about taiva for woman, and he was about gaivanik. That's a pretty rotten midas he's got. And he's still the gabbai. He didn't kick him out. Treated him like a mensch, whatever it is. Okay, what the cases were? The Haftarah starts from that person brought 20 loaves of bread. 20 loaves of bread means 20 rolls. It's also a loaf. It's one whole thing. For 100 Nevi'im. I can knock you guys, I can knock off 2-3 rolls in a shot. You know, so when for 100 guys, you know, thing over there. He told them to give it to the people, and it will be enough. And he asked, like, what do you mean it's going to be enough? So when he tells them, give it to them, so obviously he did it, and it was enough. But I mean, at the end it was left over. But the idea is the bench can make a nest. That's the point. And therefore, even with some seemingly not, but he did not believe in it. You know, he told him to do that. It's not in this Haftarah here. It's the part that's missing. No, the second part is not. It's not missing. We have it in a different Haftarah, where the Shunamis' son dies, and she comes crying with the dead body. She puts the boy on her bed, and she comes alone to see the Navi to ask him to make the kid alive again. And so she falls down on the floor, and then they push her away. You know, who are you, lady? Get out of here! You're in the way under the Rebbe. You know, but it depends where you grab someone at that point. You're not supposed to touch him at all. If I by Rabbi Akiva's wife, they chased her away that way. Always they were to put her away. Or that's the way you do it. Hey, out of here! Boom! You know, don't care, man or woman, word, just shove him out of the way. That's all. That thing you're there. So the way he grabbed her showed he had taiva, very big, behind Yofya. And then when he told him to make the kid alive, he told him to take the mashanenes. I think I got an extra nun in there, and put it on the kid, and that'll make him alive and stuff like that. And he's not to talk to anybody. And then he kept bragging. Now there's a shayla how he bragged. Because he bragged that I'm going to make someone alive, or I'm going to make a guy alive with this. Like I'm going to make fun of the. Which is again the first point that they didn't believe in the Navi. And all of this, Gehazi didn't say it. Elisha kept him as his gabbai. Why? If you have a Talmud, the Talmud is not perfect. Talmud has chesronis, and they can have major chesronis, major things. And your Rebbe's job is to bring that Talmud up to a higher level and to pure level. You can't just say, you got this meat out of here, I don't want to learn with you. You can't do that. When did he throw him out? Is he throws him out, and this part is not here. We'll talk about the Haftarah in the middle, but anyway, the Haftarah is about Naaman, who was the Satzvah of Aram. And he had tzaras. He had leprosy, probably. He wouldn't be worried about discoloration of the skin. He's worried about the machla. And he captured a little girl. Remember, he's an enemy of the Yidden. He captured a little girl who was a shifra by him. Right? She not treated like a Yiddish meidele. She was a shifra. She was in the kitchen there, and she had to scrub the pots and all the other things that she had to do as a little girl. But she was a little girl, and probably she didn't know much better. So she says to him, why don't you go to the Navi and Shemim, he'll cure you. Right? So he goes. We'll talk about the Haftarah itself and the thing there. But again, he is the enemy of Klal Yisrael. In fact, right after this story, he attacks Klal Yisrael, surrounds us, Shemrim, and everything else, then is fighting a war with them. And I saying to them, we did you a favor, we gave you cured, what do you think? Two different businesses. One's religion, one's, I'm not on your side, I'm not a friend of yours. Okay? Finally comes, we'll tell the story, I'll describe the story to you, and now we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, anyway, Elisha cures him. He doesn't take anything from him. He offers Elisha, what can I give you? Nothing. It burned Gehazi probably terribly. This is the enemy of Klal Yisrael. You're letting him get away with nothing. He's willing to pay you, and you didn't take him for every neck he has. Why didn't you do it? That's what you should do with this guy. Right? So at least I got to get something out of him. So he pretended that Elisha sent him, that 3 people came showing up without clothes and stuff like that, and he needed some clothes, and immediately gave him clothes and money for them and stuff like that and everything like that. And for that, Elisha curses him that he should become tzurua. That becomes the next haftarah of the Tazria. He becomes tzurua. What did the guy do? He did anything. Elisha said, as long as I'm the Rebbe and you're doing things that are wrong, I have an obligation to try and straighten you out. But once you think you know better than me, then I'm not the Rebbe anymore. You're out. And Afal Pikein, Elisha was punished because he was dochkei b'shtei yadayim. He's not allowed to do that. Even when you finally throw the kid out of the yeshiva or stuff like that, you're supposed to throw him out b'yamin and b'kav and b'shmol. He has to know he's not out of here. He still has sheikhs to you. He's still a partner to you. If not, the guy has no hope. And that we see the godless of Avram Avinu, and the thing we're going through there, that Avram throws Yishmael out of the house. Yishmael comes back where? To live with Avram when he comes back. So obviously, I'm still friend enough to live with you, even though you threw me out of the house. Obviously, you have to know how to throw a guy out of the house. You can't just throw him out. And stuff like that. That's what the kid has to hear. Okay. Now, and that's the reason why he was dead. But you're not allowed to be doch b'shtei yadayim. There is no hope for the guy. Now the actual haftarah goes like this. This young girl tells Naaman that he has tzaras, and that he should go to the Navi and Shemim. Okay, he goes to the Melech Aram, and he tells him, I'm going to go, I need a letter or something to the Melech Yisrael that he should get me in touch with the Novi in Shemrim, and he should cure me. Obviously the letter was written in a demanding tone, similar to, who was it, Australia, I think, just now. They're sending in a guy to check on your what do you call it, the way you're going to run your inquiry and why they killed those guys. And therefore, hey, we're an independent country. You don't just come in like that. Then you can ask Rishus, we'd like to come and watch, see how you do it. Maybe we can offer suggestions. Maybe we can do this. Not that we're taking over. We're going to be checking on you how you do the thing. Okay, but anyway, he wrote a demanding letter. I want you to cure my Yevet, okay, to Naaman. He sends him a nice gift. Melech Yisrael takes it as a threat of war, meaning that he's just taking me to do something that's impossible to do, and therefore it's a threat of war, and that's where he writes his kriya, and whatever it is there. And meanwhile, Elisha hears about this. He says, why did you send it to me? They should know there's another Yisrael. And okay, and he comes. So he takes his whole army, whatever he came with, and he goes up to see Elisha. And Elisha doesn't come out of his house. He sends him a message, I want you to go tevel 7 times in the Yarden, and you'll be cured. Now this is the biggest insult that Naaman feels. I mean, here I am coming to you. I expect that you're going to make a big show out of this, right? Go to an evangelist, right? He makes a big show out of a guy coming there. Could be also not embassy. You need a good show for it. But the thing is, but you need a show to make the people see what's happening, right? And he's telling me this. Okay, so he was very upset. He's not going to do it. So one of his soldiers said to him, what's the big deal? What did he tell you? Go for a swim, big deal. Whatever it is there. So he goes for a swim, or he dips himself 7 times in the Yarden, and he comes out, his skin is like a baby's skin. Now with that soft, very soft, the skin is cured from the bottom. He comes back to Elisha with his whole army, and he says, Yadati, now I know, Ki ein Elokim ki Yisrael. There is no other God except by the Yidden. And he said, he does not become a ger, he becomes a ger Toshev. He's mevatel Avedazov, he's not making anything except on the king did. He doesn't become a ger, he's still the enemy of Kol Yisrael. Okay. And the thing there. So, how did he know that? What did he see that told him, that he ain't Elokim Kim? So there is no other God. How did you see that? I mean, every country has a God. There's a God. How do you see that now there's no God? Because this happened. I assume that something else happened somewhere else. That's also something. That's enough. I think that he saw that the Yidden live with God. If you live with God, you don't have anything special happening. This is what you do. You pray to him, and then you get cured. When something happens, you're good. No such things there. This is what a person's supposed to do. We make big shows out of everything. Big shows is not God. Big shows is a show. That's all it is. You live with God is the thing there. And that's what he saw. So now, all of a sudden, he saw when he didn't come out, and that was even a bigger raya, that, what's the big deal? You're asking me for this, to go out and do it. You have no problem on it. That's what I think that he saw. Yeah. Then the shaila is that he's going to have to bow down bein slimain when he goes, the king is going to still have Avodah Zarah. He don't know the real truth yet, you know. So he has to lean on my hand. That's not one of the jobs of South Tzva. Is besides being the big general, he's also the guy that the king leans on. In other words, I guess to make sure that everyone understands who's the boss, the Melech or the Eved. But the idea is, that is there. And that shouldn't be counted against him. Okay, and this is the Haftarah. Okay. Say something on the rest of the story or Pesach. Pesach we can do next week, B'yat Hashem. Hopefully we're still on for next week. I don't know for sure what it will be, but I think I don't know for you people either what's going to be. So, maybe talk something about Pesach. Okay, just in case you won't get a chance next week. What would be the most important thing to talk about? Cherus. Right. I mean, we made a cheshbon the other day. I don't remember the actual number he came out with. What is the percentage of Jews in the world? We are, I think, counting about 13 million out of 8 billion. It came out to 0.00 something of 1% of the world population. And yet, the whole world tumults about us, right? This is a fact, okay? You say, okay, that's because there's so much sin about the UN, that's why they tumult about us. But not because we really have an effect on the world. Well, you have that book, what do you call, Elders of Zion, which they try to throw everything on us, right? That we're taking over the world, the cabal, I mean, that we have. Okay, how are we taking over the world? How are we going to do this? It's very nice if we do it, but how are we going to do it? And stuff like that there. Without Yisrael, Taka doesn't have fear. The fear of a goy that we feel here in Chutz La'aretz is only in Chutz La'aretz. Even to the point, not only of fear of goyim, of a fear b'etzem we don't have. I'll give you a mashal what happened to me the first time we went out to show. In both teicheches, it discusses the fear of goyim is only in Eretz Yisrael, only in Chutz La'aretz. The lesson in Kisavei is Vefitzcha, Vefitzcha Hashem Mechol Ha'amim Miksei Haaretz V'Atzei Haaretz ועבדת שם עם אחרים, אשר ידעת, ובשך עץ ואבן, ובגויים ההם, לא ישגיע ולא יהיה מונח לכף רגלך. ונוסן השם לך שום לב רגוס וחיליון בעיניים רבי נפש. Fear. Right. One guy will take away a ball from 100 bachel. Same thing, Mechukosai. Lashon is this. והנשארים בכם והבאסי במויך ובובם בארצס אויביהם. All the arts of Abraham. Because of that, the Israelis cannot understand what happened, what they call the Shoah. They can understand that how can a couple of Nazis kill so many Yidden and so on, or lead them all into a gas chamber, when they just jump on them and kill them. Is because that panic that the Bensham put into our hearts, and that made them kill us. They haven't got fear. And I told you, none in fear. We were in Eretz Yisrael the first time in 1974. My nephew was getting married, and he was getting married, I think, in the town outside of Bnei Barak. And we were going from Yerushalayim there in 2 buses. And we were all on one bus together with 6 people, and my youngest son was 6 years old. And we're coming home on the bus. This is about 12 o'clock at night. Ready? We're on the bus, and there's only 5 of us. Who's missing? Avi. Where is he? 6 years old. Oh, he took the first bus. What's going to be with him? Normally you go crazy in America. What are you talking about? And the kid got on the bus, went the wrong way. He was going to be there, sit there, wait to get there for a couple hours. Okay, what's going to kill him? No worry. We got on the bus, go down to the thing there. We come there. There's Avi sitting on the curb. The Arab street cleaner is a few feet away from him, cleaning the street. He's the only one on the street, him and the Arab. And when he killed there, and he's sitting there, and we weren't worried. Come on out, let's go. No problem. We went in. No problem. There is no fear. So therefore, the way they talk big shots like now, I let Iran attack, we'll wipe off the map, who cares what, And I believe Isaiah Zaynachman with the Mashiach, with the Rebbeinu help or not, that's a different story. I mean, it's always going to be the Rebbeinu himself, but the thing that you'll see this galus, that I don't know. But the Maisa, they're not afraid. It's not a thing that's not afraid. The thing there. We know logically America is angry at you. You should be a little afraid. Don't make the difference. We'll do what we want to do anyway. It doesn't make a difference and everything. You have to politically be nice to America. That's about all, because we want to get their money. But past that, we don't really care about anything about them. We're not afraid of them. It doesn't bother us. We're not afraid of the Arabs, not afraid of the Americans, not afraid of anything. Our army will take care of everybody. There's no food, kasha. Okay, God will take care of us. But that's the way it works. Not the thing to. We're up to the second Gula. And we got to realize that the Agoda is not just a story, something happened in Mitzrayim. It's the Beinishim's Gula of Klal Yisrael. And he can do it again. He's going to do it again. Ifnei the whole world, that they're going to see the Gula. How they're going to see it, what's going to be, and how it's going to be, and if this is it now, I have no idea. But I don't think there's anything to worry about in that sense. He's worried about, I may not be living where I'm living now for much longer. I don't know, it could be. I'm worried about it. It cost me a few $1 million to build this house. Not too happy that I have to move so fast. I'm not taking the house with me. Maybe I don't like the type of job I'm getting in Eretz Yisrael, or whatever it is there. That maybe you'll have a worry about. We don't have to work at all. The Mashiach's coming, so who needs it? So I'm saying that's a different story. Those are worries. But the actual thing, there's nothing to worry about. The nitzchus of Klal Yisrael is always going to be there. And that's our guarantee, and that's the Agoda story of our nitzchus, of how we went from whatever we go from the lowest to the top. And the truth is, even when we're downtrodden, everything else, we're still on the top. How many actual guys are bosses of their country? I mean, the thing there, you know, even the Ukraine, the president of Ukraine is a Jew. I mean, yeah, how many Jews live in Ukraine now? I mean, like that, not too many, I don't think. Right? Still, he's a Jew. Right? And this is a fact wherever you're going to go. Anything there. We go sin on us, stuff like that. That could be. United States, definitely not friends of the Jews, but you got Blinken, who's a Jew, he's the Secretary of State. You have the Secretary of Treasury is also a Jew, and you have what do you call it? Schumer's the majority. What do you call it? Senator. He's also a Jew. Well, you have Jews. We don't properly like them at the moment. That's no kasha. But the Jews, they're Jews. So obviously, being a Jew is something special. And that's something that we have to recognize ourselves. That who we are, that's first of all, who we are. And that we have something to give this world. When we went out of Mitzrayim, we were only Chamushim went out of Mitzrayim, 1/5. Why? Because I claimed that they had the same freedom that we have in America. The freedom we have now, not the freedom of 1950. I'm talking about what do you mean freedom of 1950? What was wrong with the freedom of 1950? You know, ask anybody. I'll tell you what was wrong with it. I was 13 years old, and I visited the capital of the United States, and I was wearing a yarmulke, and I was thrown out of the capital of the United States because I was wearing a yarmulke. Thank God. That was the United States in 1950. Now, probably no problem at all. You can wear a yarmulke, no, can't touch you. Won't touch you. The same there. In fact, there used to be, if you want to become a cop, you want to become a firefighter, you want to become something like that, tests are given on Shabbos. But I can't write on Shabbos. Tough luck, kid. It's not for you. Now, your Sabbath observers, no problem. Give it on Sunday. Monday. That was the freedom they had in Mitzrayim. So why go? I'm used to Mitzrayim. I'm living here for 210 years already. Right? It's ganz geschmack. Right? Why should I leave? That was the time on Klal Yisrael. They were not ready to leave. Only Chamushim were ready to leave. We're starting a new religion. We're starting a new Am. We're starting a new something. We're going to be mechadish something. We're going to accomplish something in this world different than the world has ever seen before. Not just live for myself, day-to-day living. That's the thing that we have that obligation to do. And that's the Bnei Shalom. They took out only the ones when you start only with the ones who are ready for it. You don't start with some guys who first have to convince. And that's why the Bnei Shalom was upset, or at least puts the time in, the nation you took up, the Erev Rav, that they made the ego. In other words, the Jews wouldn't have made an ego. Wouldn't have happened. And you can't take up an Erev Rav and build a new nation with an Erev Rav. He did it anyway. But that's what the point was. That you can't build. He didn't take the 4/5. He didn't make out Bar Kocha. But guys who you have dissidents, no point in taking them out. There's nothing that they're going to add to us. They're only going to make machlekes and stuff. That's the big problem with Klal Yisrael. That we have guys who, for a little bit of covet, a little bit of something, allowed. I mean, Schumer, but specifically because he played a game with the words Shemer, Shemer Yisrael, and all that stuff. About he voted twice against this. He voted by Obama for to Iran to give them all the money and make the peace, the treaty with them, and let them big iron bomb, as far as they're concerned, and they're doing and in this war also. He's that to ceasefire, do elections, whatever it is, the things which are not normal requests fought for a Yid. They should. Lincoln is, of course, he's the mouthpiece of what's his name, of Biden. So I mean, the shaila is there. Do they have a special sin in Yisrael? I don't know. I don't know if you can say that. Roosevelt was a Saint Yisrael, Mamish a Saint Yisrael. And the only trouble was he was very good for the working man. So people didn't recognize that for a while. You hear the stories after the war and all that stuff about the St. Louis and about the what do you call it, and the war board and all these things, and didn't want to meet the rabbis that time. All these, he had a bizyonis that they sinne at the Yidden, and the Jews. And God, his wife was supposed to be not to have had that. Truman, on the other hand, was, you would say, pretty of Yisrael in a certain way, right? First to recognize Israel. His partner was, I think, Reuven Feinstein, I think his name was there. And they were partners, everything else, right? Okay, but I was told that his wife didn't let a Jew into the house. Now, one of our Talmidim here claims that his grandmother lived next door or near there in Missouri and was in the house all the time. So I can't answer the guy. They were not frum. So I can't answer you, but the thing is there. But that could be what's called normal anti-Semitism. A Yid is like we don't even Geirusin, like he's not a mensch, right? We need them, so we go over. We need a good doctor, you go to the Yid. You need a good lawyer, you go to the Yid. You need his brains. We don't need his, what do you call it? That and one can't give him. That Esau's taina was, you know, Olam Haza you can't have. You gave me Olam Haza, you always Olam Haba. You don't get Olam Haza, right? And Hank Greenberg, I don't know if you guys know about him, he was a Jewish baseball player. He was better than Babe Ruth. Right? 2 weeks before the end of the season, he had 58 home runs. The record was 60 that time. Right? They walked him every time he picked up the bat. So he shouldn't break the record. A Yid cannot break the record. And I think that was the sin that exists. Okay, well that's, you know, you want to come into our territory, you don't belong there. You can be the people of the book you can be. I don't care if you want to learn Torah all day long, that doesn't bother me. Just don't come in and sit in the 50-yard line. That's what bothers me. Okay? That's the issue. That was the guy. Thomas Jefferson, who in a way paid back Chaim Salmon. The reason the whole reason when America exists is only because of Chaim Salmon. Okay? So what was the reason that he said? Because there was no money. All the money was in England. All the money in England isn't giving you money to fight the English crowns. So he said the only ones he had was the Svardim who had the money in Holland. And that was the Jews. And that was the thing there. That was who gave him the money. You think it's a small thing? I was reading the Mirror book. Now, they gave out the first time they were on Bellworks. So the bridge or something, I don't know what it's called, something like that. So it gives you the history of Japan. So they have, if they have Mir in Japan, when Mir came there, so the foreign minister of Japan addressed him. They were very afraid of him because he was the one that made the pact with Hitler in the Axis. So they were afraid of him. And saying, what's he going to say? He said, just because we're allies with Hitler, we don't think like Hitler. And Hitler is anti-Semite or whatever it is there, that we're not. We just happen we have the same interests. That was the thing there. And then he says to him, but I always wanted to pay back the Jews because in 1905, the only one that loaned the money was Jacob Schiff. He was a reformer. And I always thought he was a terrible person. He was the head of the board of the conservative, even to make sure that the conservative can always make frei, or that will have the thing there. But Jacob Schiff, but he is, and his daughter owned a post, became an Episcopalian altogether, again Dalton's son, and he had Hakos Hatov to him, because he loaned the money and got the money from some other country that was able to get beat Russia in 1905 in a war, in Russia-Japanese war. And he says he always wanted to pay back the Jews, that they should take care of, and that we should become partners and this and that. This is in 1940. He's talking like that. Who's you talking to? Yeah? Japanese. So obviously, money means a lot. If you haven't got any money, you don't have any arms. It's as simple as that. Of course, you make it yourself, and making yourself, you also have to have the materials and the stuff and that. If you don't have it, you can't have it. That's the thing down. So Miltzesh, the Beisham is showing Nisim so far, whatever it is. What he's showing, I don't know. We'll see Miltzesh Hashem. But we should always remember, this is the Shchedish of the Geula. The Geula can be now. So that's what we have to hope for. There was what do you call it? An eclipse, which the Olam was judged. And that the only even it means the local Olam. It's also got pretty much the United States over there where the Arabs live. It's good. It's big enough. How they can do whatever that come. If the Benishim will banish them or not, I don't know. We'll see again. We'll see all the things that we learn about. So the Benishim you bring this to Shnaskula Yeshua that we can bring the Korban Pesach. Right now it's probably going to be, you can still do it with Torah. It depends how fast we go, but it's pretty close for the Torah part. But B'tumah, but Korban Pesach, we brought B'tumah, so it's not a problem. So Korban Pesach we still have this year. Well, Hashem. A bit of Shabbos.